Good evening, everyone. Happy quarantine.
Hello, everyone. This is Get the Fork Out. Today we have my friend Nicky, and we met on a boat called Pacific Hope that goes around the world helping people with food, water, medical treatment after natural disasters. And it's an amazing mission what they do. And so Nicky's on here today to talk a little bit about that and whatever else comes up. So, hello, Nicky.
Perfect. Well, hi guys. Thank you, Brennan, for the introduction. That was so kind. It's good to be on the podcast with you, and you've been doing such an amazing job with this. It's been very interesting to see everything. So thanks for bringing me on board.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, you get. I think your story and Pacific Hope stories, I think it's going to interest a lot of people.
Oh, well, cool. Well, hopefully. Yeah. So, I mean, it's. Gosh, I can't tell you. I mean, obviously, I've made some amazing friendships along the way. Who would have thought that you and I would have met on a Christian missionary vessel, if that makes sense? And at the same time, like, it's just taking me to all sorts of places I never thought I would be, in the best of ways. So,
well, why don't you describe what's the idea behind it? What's the driving force?
So Pacific Hope is a organization, and we have a 200-foot medical ship. We call it a medical ship, but it's really a ship, really an organization that goes to impoverished areas, disaster areas. Like we were one of the first organizations in after the Bahamas when the hurricane came through recently, which a lot of people are very familiar with. And one of the things I've absolutely loved about our organization and what we do is, yes, we have 2 full dental chairs. We have a full dental clinic. We come equipped with eye surgeons sometimes, depending on when they can come in. But really what we first do is we find out what's needed. And one of the things, and it's so nice to have that versatility, because one of the things when we first went to the Bahamas, they just needed fresh water. And it was something so simple, but yes, we could bring the doctors. Yes, we could bring in all the stuff, and we did all that too. But one of the big driving force behind Pacific Hope is we go in, we've got eager volunteers, anywhere from the doctors I was just talking about, all the way down to somebody who's just like, I just want to help. That's all I want to do.
Which was me for a few weeks there.
Well, you have a few talents up your sleeve.
I want to talk a little bit about the boat too, because it's a bit of a transformer, like you said. It's what's needed, and Marvin, who I'd love to have on, he's keen to come on, and he can talk more about maybe the boat and how it works. But it can, like, there's a huge loading bay. You can bring food, you can load with water, but it's originally built in like 1976 as a Japanese fishing boat. 1970 something, is that right?
Yes, it was a long line commercial fishing vessel out of I believe it was Japan. I could be wrong. It's either China.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And ironically, it actually turned into a Russian cruise ship at one point in time, which I thought was very, because me being 6 feet tall, some of the beds, like, obviously it's been refitted since then, but some of them were tiny at the beginning. I was like, wow, people are a little bit different back then. But
I want to redo that video of me hitting my head all over the boat, because I think that needs some more work. That's a good one, good for the YouTube. Yeah.
We had a lot of modifications done since you've been on the boat, not gonna lie. And it's actually gonna go through another refit, which we can talk about a little bit, because it's gonna go up to Amazon here soon too.
Oh, amazing.
Really cool. Yeah. Wow. Talk about an adventure.
Let's go back to before I took us off subject there. Like, so the idea is to get help to people just recently going through a natural disaster or anything, or is it specifically natural disasters?
No, like I said, it's in impoverished countries. It's really people who need us. And it's been interesting. We are a Christian organization, but one of the things is we accept everybody.
You accepted me. I'm not a devout Christian whatsoever, but it sounded like a great a
We
great
still love
mission.
you,
Like,
Brennan. It's okay.
thank you. Well, when we die, we'll probably go to different places. That'll happen.
That's not for me to decide. That's for somebody else. So,
Right.
if you look at the memes in my phone, maybe not. Maybe we go to the same
Oh,
place.
you like
I
that
don't
one?
know.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Just
You
easy.
do have a pretty twisted sense of humor. I have to give you that. We're right in line on that one. Yeah.
Exactly. No, like when I met you in Dominica, so the ship has been to 13 plus countries ever since 2013. And Dominica, yes, had been hit by Maria, but that was 2 years prior and they were still struggling. And so we went in and you saw.
And Maria, real quick, for people who don't remember, Maria was like off the scale. Like it was bigger than a 5. That whole, all the islands that it hit, it was well beyond the capacity of the categories of the units. Like it was past a 5. So horrible winds hit that place.
It was terrible. I mean, when I still will never forget when I first landed on the island, it looked like the entire island had just been in flames, had just burned because all the trees were just stripped bare. There was nothing. And it used to be this lush rainforest. And it's actually one of the few islands too that has natural fresh water on it. So, which actually helps a lot when it comes to after this, because then people can still have drinking water, if you will, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. But even though that was 2 years after the hurricane hit, there was still a lot of need. And we did something, I believe it was over 300 eye patients we saw in one weekend. And we did general medical over there too. We had some nurses come on board. We had our eye surgeons come on board. They actually did some cataract surgeries. And to kind of give you an idea too, when people get cataract surgery here in the US, they go through routine eye doctors, that sort of thing. In these countries that we've gone to, and I've sat in on one of these surgeries too, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, a cataract surgery can literally take 12 minutes. That's it.
Wow.
And for the States, when it's a little cataract, people before will have a little bit of a yellow tint to their vision. And then afterwards, like, wow, I didn't realize how much color I can see, which is phenomenal. And it's something that's wonderful that's only how bad it gets. When we're doing some of these surgeries in other countries, we're pulling out cataracts that are almost the size of an M&M. And when you put that up to your eye, it's blinding. It is completely blinding. And literally from a 12-minute surgery, some of these people who are completely blind go from blind to being able to fully see again. And it is incredible. It is the craziest thing to watch people when you take off those bandages and they're just like, oh my, they can see. And I'm not gonna lie, I've teared up a few times. It's and then it's the ripple effect on top of that, where okay, well now, they had to have people or their family take care of them. They had to have all this extra help. They had to have, or they couldn't start their own business. They had to sell it, whatever it is. Like there's so many different things. And then from literally a 12-minute surgery, not only can they see their grandkids again, can they see their family again, they can start their business, they can contribute back to their family, like the mental health that goes into it, and then the ripple effect that it extends. And that's just from the eye surgery aspect of Pacific Hope. That doesn't include the dental, the general, the trash pickup that we do. Oh my gosh, we picked up something like 36,000 gallons of trash in a week. And it was
why don't you describe why trash is very difficult on an island? I kind of know the logistics behind it, but describe it so everyone gets the idea, because in most countries that we're from and most countries that we're talking to, trash magically disappears somewhere after we put it outside.
For people, it's like out of sight, out of mind, no big deal. Right. It goes away. I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not quite as much of a yachty as you are, but when it comes to islands, it's whatever you bring to the island, or whatever's on the island, you have to bring it with you, correct?
Yeah. Well, and it happens around the world. It happens in Galley, they have a similar issue. I've been to some of these landfills and it's just shocking. And anyway, I won't get into the whole kind of where trash goes on the planet. And I don't know everything either. It's just an interesting thing that the world is dealing with. And some people are selling trash and some people are buying trash. It's nuts. So yeah, I mean, an island like Dominica, like where's it going to go? There's no landfill there. So it's just cool that you guys come and you pick up trash. And then I think what that does too is that it shows the locals how important it is. And it's not even their fault necessarily. They just don't know what to do with trash. It's just it's not that easy.
Yeah. Or sometimes it just hasn't been a project that has been able to be a priority for people at the time. So even the Dominican Republic, so in Dominica, we picked up trash. In the Bahamas, we picked up trash. And like, those are smaller islands. So we literally, because Pacific Hope, again, it's a 200-foot ship, and we have our dental clinic and our eye clinics. But like you said, we have a lot more. We have water makers, we have multiple different tenders, so we can bring people back and forth. But then we also have four-wheelers, trailers, tools, everything. I mean, we really are like a compact system. So what we did in the Bahamas was we hooked up a massive trailer on the back of our four-wheeler, and we just did circles around the island. And we had teams in different areas of the island, just constantly picking up trash, putting it into 40-gallon bags. And as our garbage route, if you will, would just go, and people would throw it on the trailer, and they just keep going. And then we were able to gather it all up and take it to another island to incinerate it, at least so it wouldn't just go into the ocean, which was wonderful. I don't know, like, I know that's exactly what we did. Like, I know our ship itself has an incinerator, but we followed the same procedures of what was going on in the island. We just helped them gather it at the same time so it doesn't go to the ocean. But then also in the Dominican Republic, this was a really cool project that I loved. They didn't have, they had, and forgive me, I'm so sorry, I forget the name of the trucks, but it's like where the forklift comes over. It's a garbage truck.
Like a garbage truck. They just picks it up and shuts it back. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But instead of prongs, they had the actual like bin where it comes over the front, the bin goes in, and the name of the truck is eluding me. I'm sorry. So what we did is, it was a super simple concept of, we literally just bore into a hill, if you will, just a small hill, the same size of the trash bin, and made it a perpendicular, like 90 degrees. So it's just up and back, but made it to the exact specifications of the truck. So locals, instead of just throwing their trash on the road or not really knowing where to put it, or even sometimes in the ocean, they could take that trash, throw it into that little designated area that we had built. We built it with concrete, center blocks, and some other things. And all that truck has to do now is go by, take the thing, throw it in. And people, and it was interesting to see that once we did that, everybody, I mean, there was trash coming like out of people's ears.
That's
it was
so
amazing.
Cool.
But at least it was all going to a better, more organized spot, not
some sort of system, not just random.
Exactly, not polluting on the ground. I mean, you don't know what chemicals are constantly leaking. You don't know if it ends up in the ocean because people are living near the water. And it was just, and again, kind of going back to the original thing of what I said about Pacific Hope, it was what was needed. And it was a simple concept, and it didn't require major doctors or anything. And we're so appreciative of our major doctors, because again, restoring somebody's eyesight, you can believe that's amazing. But even still, the volunteers who just want to come help, they can help stack center blocks and help put concrete and help pick up trash, and it makes such a huge difference, all in the same way. So, well, maybe in the comments below, I'll put a link to Pacific Hope website, and if people want to volunteer, if people want to donate their time, and it is really fun. I'd happily do it again. It was so cool what we did. I cooked food, obviously, but we loved you. It was fun. It was fun. And that maybe we should give a shout out or a bump to that farm we went to. Do you remember the name of it? Oh gosh! Oh, that was so neat. But like, I want to. There's a thing I want to talk about specifically, because you mentioned like, well, hurricanes. Obviously, they ripped through that area, and they had this cool terminology for like cassava, and basically shit that grew in the ground that was hurricane proof, because if you had fruit, it was gone. I mean, it was in the ocean. It was airborne. Forget it. Well, but if you had stuff in the ground, you had food.
And I thought that was fascinating, that you could actually like kind of ahead of time know that, all right, well, we got tons of cassava. If shit hits the fan, it's there. And it's just brilliant, you know, like you stored food, you're growing it in the ground, because if it's in a tree, it's on.
You're right, because it was something like
that couple was awesome.
yucca. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was something like yucca. It wasn't yucca, but it was something like it. And it was
No,
like,
cassava is the same thing. Cassava, yucca, manioc, it's all the same.
okay. No,
Pretty sure. I might get that wrong. I'm pretty sure that's right.
I'm not gonna lie, I did just text Danny to ask her about it.
Panda yucca is famous in like Brazil and Colombia, and it's cassava is what is also another name, and manioc is another weird name. But
Okay.
anyway, Pacific Hope.
I know, I was texting Danny right now. I was like, hey, what was the name of that song?
They were cool. Yeah, it was a couple.
Yeah,
it was like
cool.
one local dude. He was like half local, half something, and she was Aussie. And they were just doing sustainable farming, these real cool Japanese techniques with like a tiered, almost mound system that would like also help funnel the water to the lower part. So when the rain did come, it would just go in where they wanted it. Brilliant.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Well, they did different berms constantly going throughout. And then the other thing I thought was interesting too is they used a technique where not everything was randomized. It was kind of like organized chaos, where they would put different plants all together. So there was not like a row of a specific vegetable. It was all kind of randomly sporadic. And then they do plants that were they would essentially repel insect repellent, if you will, and then scatter it throughout. And what they were explaining to us, I don't know if you were here for that, is that
I remember.
By doing that, it actually confuses the insects. It confuses some of the more pests, if you will. So therefore, their plants are actually left alone.
As I remember it, which is going to be completely inaccurate, was it some sort of Japanese? He was like an architect, and then he took up farming. A Japanese dude, and he kind of got it wrong, and they came up with this new system, almost like I want to say it's a seed ball system, but the idea of randomizing your crop, it's much harder to harvest. Definitely. But like if you just have a field of carrots, you're going to attract so many pests. That is this huge beacon of light that loves carrots. Like every insect that could imagine wants that carrot, they can smell that shit from a mile away. But if you randomize it, it keeps a lot of the pests under control. And they had, remember in the mounds, they had like dead logs to be like a source of nitrates farther down. So when the roots got, it's just, it was brilliant stuff. It was so cool.
So much engineering that when it was called Free Up Farms too, by the way.
That's it.
On Dominica.
Yeah.
Free Up
I'll plug them. I'll put a link in the comments, and anyone wants to check it out. Really amazing people. And if you are there on a yacht, just send them a message, because you can get food from them. You can get awesome food.
It was great food. Well, you would know.
They'll probably give you a tour.
Huh?
And they'll probably give you a tour. Like
yes, they will. Well, they're just passionate about it, and they're really, really neat people. Very intelligent, very solid engineers in what they're doing, and successful with it as well. So they're doing a great job out there. Oh, that was the other cool thing about it. I mean, seriously, by going to these places, so that again, I could probably talk your ear off about Pacific Hope and all the experiences I've had, but
by all means,
going to these places, we would have never figured out. I would have never known that existed had I not been volunteering with Pacific Hope. And we always pair up with different organizations, and then we learn more about that. We're like, wow, that's really cool. We collaborate with more, and it's just all over the place in such a wonderful way, because we're not gonna, go ahead.
Well, it attracts similar minds. Like it's almost like what's the analogy I want to make? Like almost like a snowball effect. Like once you start to get into motion and you start talking about what you're doing, you just, I know so-and-so, and people just start connecting the dots, and you have these wonderful interactions and this network that you never would have expected.
100%. Well, that's actually too what happened in the Bahamas, because we were one of the first boats in, and there was not a lot of people who could actually get into the Bahamas right after the hurricane. And what was interesting about being on the island, it was that anybody who was walking around, especially in the very, very early stages, it was almost like all the small talk went out the window, because you were only there to help. You either survived the hurricane or you're there to help. So anybody that you ran into, you instantly like, are you okay? Or what are you like, not what are you doing in a mean way or anything, but it was like, okay, Are you planes? Are you boats? Are you medical? Like, what are you doing? And so everybody instantaneously just started collaborating with one another. We were Rotary on Freeport. As soon as we got there, they're like, hey, we've got this massive warehouse with all these supplies. We really don't have a great way of transporting it out. They were like, we do.
Perfect.
We got all these vehicles. It's great. We got trailers. We got vehicles. We got all this stuff. So it's just like you said, like you attract like minds. And then when you find those people and everybody brings their aspect or their different part of their piece of the puzzle to it, all of a sudden you complete this masterpiece that truly does help and affect lives. I mean, even just water distribution, like I said earlier, when we first got to the Bahamas, literally saved thousands of lives. It's just crazy how simple it can be.
And so, like, as a volunteer, which you've been doing for and with Pacific Hope for a long time, like, if you were to take some sort of like abstract measurement of what you put in versus what you get back, I imagine like it's insane.
It is. I have, honest to God, never worked harder in my life, and I have never been. And I still cannot make up for the reward. Truly, between the people I've met, the information I've learned, just it truly is like I truly believe what you put into life, you're gonna get back tenfold. So whether that's good or bad. And obviously with my faith, I believe it's from God. Like that's one of the things that he teaches. Some people call it karma, some people, whatever it is, it happens. And I mean, some of the beauty that I've seen, just natural beauty that I've seen in this world, or from volunteering with Pacific Hope, is something you can't pay for. You really can't. And I'm sure you've kind of understand that, like, you just have to be there at the right time and right place. Being on a boat, it's one of the most beautiful. It was still one of my favorite memories is being in Panama on this little 19-foot tiller steer, and I was kind of like, where am I? Because it was very much in my early stages of being on Pacific Hope, and it was no moon, and there was just bright stars. It was clear sky, and then as we're going through it, there was bioluminescence underneath us. So kind of like a Life of Pi moment. It was a 360 view of just stars. It was beautiful. And then, so that's just the natural side. Then talking about the people that I've met and the different aspects of their life. And then personally, it's actually come back to where I've met more people talking about Pacific Hope, and I've talked to my husband about it. And then we've ended up investing with people and doing some other things that I never thought would be possible. Not like just, I'm saying from a personal aspect too, like not trying to collude the two, but it's just, and then the people who come back to Pacific Hope and then they're like, hey, you know, I want to volunteer. I want to tell my friends about it. I want to do this. And then some of these kids end up walking away with mentorships. And I know I'm kind of random and all the things I'm talking about, but when you sit back and you watch it and you see it, you literally go, there's so much giving here, and there's so much good, and there's so many things that I would have never been able to experience in my life had I not just given the time to come learn about this. And then it invigorates you. It makes you want to go pursue whatever your newest interest is, like free up farms. I would have never known about that. Not gonna lie, I came back, started my garden, you know, kind of like started some hobbies. And then because of it, when COVID hit, I was like, well, great, I actually have self-sufficient food. Not gonna lie, went out back, caught my fish, grew my vegetables, we were good to go. But
I couldn't encourage anyone enough, like, to go just 2 weeks. You know, just do for a couple weeks. Keep in touch with Pacific Hope and see where they're at and who they're helping. And if that interests you in any way, it's awesome. You meet so many cool people. You're actually helping people that need it, and they're just what you get back is just this feeling of warmth of like, these people just hug you. They're just so thankful, and it's really, I can't say enough. So it's 2 weeks well spent, I promise, or 2 months, whatever you want to do. They're happy to have you.
Yep, we definitely are. Do you remember when we walked from, because you and I think we got locked out of the hotel.
Oh, we went around the whole island by foot at
yep,
night?
we walked by ourselves at night, you and I, and I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning I was kind of like, oh dear gosh, like, is this okay to be doing? And I loved it because I don't know if you remember what we experienced was because Pacific Hope had been there helping the locals, that they knew us. They were like, y'all come over here. We got you. You're safe. It's no big deal. Like just like you said, they completely embraced us and did not, when the ship actually left, all of us were torn because locals didn't want us to leave and we were kind of torn about it too, but we needed to move to a different country.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. The people everywhere that we've gone, I mean, people bring us fruit, people bring us bait, anything, like anything. Just they're so excited to have us there. And then because of that, we get to learn about the culture that we never would have been able to learn otherwise. Because people are just like, no, come over to our house. Come here. Like, thank you so much. We're like, the reason why we do this is because we're a Christian organization. So we believe in bringing forth the word of God, like just doing good works, leading by example, and trying to better the world. And again, we're very open to anybody. So whoever wants to come on board, this is just what we do. We don't really say no or you can or anything like that just because of faith-based whatever. We accept everybody. We want everybody to come and join us, to come and see. And again, not only is that received from our crew, but from the people who we help. And then I can't tell you how many people's homes I've been to because they're like, come on, we can't wait we want to cook for you. We want to serve you dinner. We want to do all these things. And it's truly amazing. It really
is life-changing stuff what you do. I mean, just the story about cataracts, and I forget something else was removed from someone when I was there, and like people are in tears, their relatives are in tears because you've just fixed their life. And it's something so small that we take for granted that in some of the countries that are kind of off the grid or too small, too far in the middle of nowhere, like these small things really encumber people's lives to the point of depression, alcoholism, like drug addiction, because I can't see or I can't walk, and then you guys show up and ping, we'll take care of that.
So when I was doing a lot of research on some of the cataract surgeries when I first got to the boat, I found out a really interesting fact that 50% of the world's blindness is due to cataracts.
Really?
So if you take all the blind people in the world, half of them are blind because of cataracts. And again,
it's 12-minute surgery.
12-minute surgery. That's what it is. And it's crazy how it comes in. And then on top of that, dental is the other thing too.
Yeah.
Is dental is very much paired in with suicide, mental health, things of that nature, because it's all right next to your brain. It constantly never goes away. And when I was interviewing some of the guys who they came in for a dental procedure, and I was kind of asking him about his symptoms and to see what he was feeling, to kind of get an understanding of what his life was like. He's like, I haven't been able to sleep for months. I haven't been able to sleep. They haven't been able to do anything. And then the second that literally all we did was remove a tooth. That was it. We just removed it. And the amount of relief that was on his face, he couldn't wait. And I said, well, what are you going to go eat first? He's like, I want the full home cooked meal. I want beans and rice. And he's like, I'm calling my family and everything. It's amazing how something so simple can be so life-changing. And then again, like I told you before, the ripple effect of that person goes home to their family and then is a happier person. And then it helps everybody else's mental health. And then they're better able to contribute to society. And it keeps going further, much further than we probably ever will realize, to be quite honest.
Yeah. It's important stuff. And it's, these are people that have gone, months without power because of whatever natural disaster. And then, kind of on the list of important things to take care of, their teeth and access to someone that can take care of it for them. It's just far down the list. Like there's already too much on their plate as it is. It's awesome. It was really cool to see just little things like that, or you guys come back to the boat and tell a story of so-and-so. And it was special. It's cool what you guys do. I like it.
Thank you. Well, we love having you on board and your humor.
I'm not very funny. I'm not fun.
You're okay. It's all good.
I was being sarcastic.
And your debates.
Push back.
I was gonna say, I miss your debates, Brennan.
Yeah.
we won't get into politics, but you know, I do miss your debate.
Or religion. Both those things got debated.
No, it was a lot of fun, but it's our next adventure. So one of the things too, by the way, if anybody wants to help with Pacific Hope, is we definitely need donations right now. During COVID, another friend of mine who I was talking about, I think it was, they said something like 72% of all nonprofits actually shut down.
I believe it.
Not just paused, like dissolved. And
yeah.
So yes, we are a nonprofit organization. We definitely need donations. But one of the other things too is if people want to volunteer, definitely. We love having volunteers. That's one of the things I've been talking about, I feel like, this entire time. Definitely go to our website. But another thing that's a simple thing too is just to follow us on Instagram. That's Facebook, Instagram, kind of giving us support. The more that we build with that, definitely the larger presence that we have, which means that we can reach out to more people.
Yeah.
And for people who are looking to go on an adventure, for sure, like I said, the very, very beginning is our next project is to go up the Amazon River. And what I didn't know.
And do what? What's the mission? What's the goal?
Is, well, so there's apparently quite hundreds of people up there that have really never had interaction with the outside world. I had no idea that this still existed today, that people were that isolated. So we are pairing up with local different people who live there, if you will, because obviously there's going to be language barriers depending on where we go. But the Amazon River itself is 4,000 miles long. So the ship's going to go through a refit. And our goal, of course, again, we're Christian based, so we want to go up there and kind of lead by example. But we do want to see, you know, have they had dental care? Have they had eye surgeries? Are there these people that, again, just need these simple things to have a better life that we can go up, contribute, and then come right back, pick up some more volunteers and do it again without being too invasive. That's the other thing that we like to do is we don't want to sit in the same country for too long because we don't want people to become dependent on us, and we don't want to take away from doctors and dentists and people who are on the island. But if they do need help in the meantime, that is something that we like to do. But so just to give you an idea, the Amazon River is over 4,000 miles long, which is kind of the equivalent of going from Gibraltar to Fort Lauderdale, crossing the Atlantic. And
yeah, it's big.
There are people up there, again, that have never really had interaction with the outside world. So we're refitting the ship. It's going to go up there, and we're going to be able to hold enough fuel to go a couple thousand miles up and a couple thousand miles back and see, do they need fresh water? Do they need dental treatments? Do they need eye surgeries? Do they need any of that kind of thing? And then also we are going to bring some Bibles. Again, so then for like people, I know, but.
Well, consider me very interested because I've always wanted to kind of partake in the Amazon. I do speak Spanish, even though it's probably going to be Portuguese, at least in the beginning. But that would be quite an adventure. I remember reading a book about the Amazon as a kid. I think it was a father and son paddled from Canada up the Amazon. It's pretty ridiculous. So. I mean,
it's uncharted. Well, I mean, it's charted territory, but it's kind of like a Sacagawea situation in a weird way, if that makes sense. Because, you know, we really are going to be interacting with people who may look at us and going, "You exist." You know what I mean? Like we just don't know. It's going to be really well.
There's new research. I can't tell you the technology, but something overhead that can pass over. And they're finding tons and tons of ruins up the Amazon of massive multi-million inhabitant cities. So there's a famous explorer, I can't remember, one of the first ones, who said he saw massive cities when one of the first Spanish guys to go up the river. Said he saw these massive cities, and then 15-20 years later the next group came and they're like, "You're full of shit. Where are these cities?" They think, this is all speculation, is that he brought smallpox and the flu and he wiped not him, but his party wiped almost everyone out, and the jungle took the cities back in 15-20 years. It's quite easy. So they're seeing, which, I mean, even if half of that's true, 25% of that's true, I want to know more. Like, I love that idea.
Exactly. That's amazing. It's just, can you believe with today's modern technology in today's world that we still, well, it's kind of like the ocean. We still don't know the majority of, we really don't know about the ocean, to be quite honest.
Agreed.
There's so much more to it. We think we know, and we really don't have a clue.
And there's probably keys to our past down there that it's too expensive to go look for, and it's fascinating, all this stuff. I love it. So anyway, Amazon.
Yeah.
I got rotation now, so I can do cool stuff.
Ah, perfect. You can come back.
10 weeks on, 10 weeks off.
You'll have to see the new modifications that we've made to the ship too. I think you'll like it, and our new boats and everything. So. What
about the Galley? Do you mess with the Galley at all?
I don't. I'm trying to remember from. I think we updated some of the equipment.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember from when you were there. That is more Marvin's department. He kind of the captain of the ship. I get my information from him, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna get Marvin on for sure. He's such a character, such a cool dude. So smart. It's just unique, human that knows his shit. He's awesome.
Very, very much so. There's never a dull moment with Marvin. I can definitely tell you that. Then again, I kind of become the same, so I don't really know it. I absolutely love him. So you'll have a lot of fun with him, as you always do on the show too. So, but no, I really appreciate everything. I mean, I don't know what my life would be like without Pacific Hope. Honest to God, it has been one of the best adventures of my life and the most rewarding, most educating, honest to God. And I can't get enough of it. I keep coming back. And a lot of people keep telling me that too. They're like, I'm planning my next trip. I want to come back. I want to see, kind of like you. You're like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Everybody finds their own piece, their own little niche on the ship. And it's really cool to see what people end up gravitating towards and their own experiences. Nobody has the same experience. They really don't. Everybody finds what pertains to them. And it's really beautiful. It's really cool to see. So. And
everyone is there to help, because it just feels good to help. Like we just want to help people and spend some time and spread some love and just make sure that, if I'm okay, then, and I'm strong enough, stable enough, then I can give a little bit. And that if we all did more of that, I think it'd just be a better planet. But I think that's what drew me to Pacific Oath in the first place. I'm not like a faith-based person whatsoever, but I knew you guys were cool. I knew Marvin was cool, and it was fun. We had a really good time. And you just feel good. It's I can't recommend it enough. It's not the only kind of charity or philanthropic thing I've ever done. So I already knew that I liked it. But I would just encourage any yachty with a bit of free time. So check it out. You'll like it. It's cool.
Oh, well, thank you, Brennan. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah.
You're so nice. I'm not used to this side of you.
How dare you? How dare you? I am always cordial and classy.
I gotta poke the bear every now and then. I mean, come on. That's like half of our relationship.
Very true. Very true. We do talk a lot of shit. It's quite fun.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Probably.
Now we're saying how fun it is, but we're not actually doing it. So we should, I don't know, just talk shit. I can't think of well, because we're like telling people how we talk a lot of shit, but we're not. Right now we're just telling people how we do. You see what I mean?
Exactly. I know. I feel like I'm actually being nice and professional and everything. And I'm like, wow, I haven't had this type of conversation with you, Brennan. Like, what's going on here?
Well, it is going on the internet forever. So.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but no, this is a no holds barred show. I mean, you can swear, we can whatever. It doesn't matter.
Maybe episode 2. Maybe
episode 2. Yeah. Episode 2 for sure.
After I get a little bit more comfortable. So
I wish I had more time not to jump off that subject. But I wish I had more time to edit in like videos and the kind of the visuals of what Pacific Hope looks like and where you guys have been. I just don't have the time.
That's what the ship
Yeah,
looks like right
yeah,
now.
no.
So
I wanted like a drone shot, not a sticker.
I know, but at least I can still give you this while we're
All
on
right.
the podcast show if you want. But yes, so that people have the information too, it is mvmotorvesselpacifichope.org is where you can go to find the information for. And then our Instagram is also MV Pacific Hope. And you'll be able to find a lot of information, a lot of photos, a lot of videos.
That's true. Yeah.
Helping. I mean, if whatever you want to see that we're doing, it's on there. Go find it. And there's so much more that's not even posted. I mean, truly, like you were saying, you just have to immerse yourself in it. And it's
I just had an idea.
hard
What
to
about if
describe.
someone wants to do, don't you need like an IT person? Wasn't that kind of like what you were thinking about when I was on there last time? Like someone to edit all that stuff, to organize all that stuff, and to
Yep.
get it up. That would
Go
be
ahead.
cool.
Yeah.
No, I think that would be like if they could be on the boat somehow, but I don't know. They don't really have internet on there. I don't know. It's just something, if someone has those capabilities, that would be a great volunteer, very useful.
Yes, all social media love, especially like high def photos to be able to post, put in brochures, like any of that kind of stuff. But seriously, I mean, it's even stuff from different perspectives. It's amazing to see because like you can see something that you're doing good, or if we're having a dental clinic, you can see it from your perspective and go, oh wow, that was really interesting. And then all of a sudden somebody posts a photo from a different angle and you're going, I had no idea that even happened. So yes, so having an IT person on board to kind of capture the feeling, it's very, very helpful. It's a huge aspect. But at the same time, people with all different types of talents are always needed. And I know that kind of sounds very broad and vague, but again, that's kind of another aspect of Pacific Hope that's been very neat is when people come aboard, they're like, well, I've had experience managing XYZ. And we're like, oh, great. Okay. Well, then you help us run the clinic, because you're used to working with people, or I have experience with IT. Wonderful. If you would like to work on that, please to help. Or I have experience driving boats. I have experience here. And then when people volunteer, all of a sudden, what they may have been shy about before, or maybe just haven't explored, all of a sudden it comes out. It's like, well, I kind of want to try that. We're like, great.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. Like we need people like that. And then some of them end up staying on board and being full-time crew. It's so yes, we always need volunteers. We always need people who want to contribute, want to have a special talent, and social media and IT is always needed. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that when I come back. I can help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like cooking is fun, but I don't get to it's not like boots on the ground. I don't get to meet any locals or help anybody. It's not the same.
I gotcha. No, I will admit it's my favorite part. So I can totally understand. We're like, I want to get out of the galley. I want to go talk to people.
Yeah.
Yep. Come on, let's go.
Right. Yeah. Give me
Marvin will cook for the day.
I'll be so stoked with the camera. I'll just go nuts, and then don't even need internet. Just get on my laptop and edit some stuff. I would love that.
That'd be really, really cool. So I feel like, I don't know, you and I, if we went and interviewed people though, I feel like you and I would have to tone down ourselves.
I love that. Why?
You're like 6'4". People are like, oh dear God.
We might be intimidating. Yeah. Maybe we could be seated.
Come over here. Let me see your story. Like that doesn't
we could wheel over on the 4-wheeler, just like
have the drone follow us through.
Yeah, that wouldn't be intimidating at all. That'd be fun though. We could do some interviews. Yeah.
That was honestly, I learn something every single time I ask people and I interview people.
Yeah.
I always learn something new every single time, a new perspective that I just didn't see. I'm running around kind of going, oh yeah, that's great, we're doing dental. And they're like, no, you saved my daughter. You allowed her to go back to school. Now she can sleep. Now that it's just stuff that you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, our life is pretty straightforward here. Like things are organized, and we're from affluent countries, which is just blind luck that we're happen to be born into them. And then we go to other places, and it really does give you a perspective that's needed. That you're like, holy shit, I'm lucky. It's just luck, nothing more. And then imagine a toothache destroying years of your life because you couldn't sleep, or That's
Or
it's
eat.
crazy.
Get proper
We all or
nutrition.
eat. Yeah. Yeah, it's just giving a little bit. You know, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it all year, but I highly recommend is people just donating a little bit of time. Go somewhere cool.
It's funny. People leave charged. So you kind of come with a lot of people think they come with a full battery. The battery is empty. When they leave, the battery's full.
Yeah, I get it. That's a good analogy.
It's it's highly rewarding on all ends. So, and some of the kids too, which is kind of cool because we have kids. I mean, we've got people from, at one point, we even had as young as 8. Now that really hasn't happened as much anymore, but we are doing some family events where people can bring their kids and stuff like that too. But some even the teenagers, whatever, and when the doctors come aboard, they can leave with mentors because they've never been exposed to surgeries or dental, or, I mean, think about it, as adults, as professionals, we've all gotten into our own niches. And then when people come volunteer, it's not because of a specific talent or a specific niche. And obviously our doctors are a little bit different. Yes, we were searching for eye doctors and dentists, but you don't have to have a certain profession to just volunteer. So when you get this combination of adults and kids mixed together, all of a sudden they're talking about different professions that they never knew about, or just different ideas, different walks of life in this world. It's like, that sounds so cool. And some of them actually leave with mentors or a different idea of life, what they can get into, and get invigorated to go pursue it. It's really
Bring
neat.
your kids. Bring your kids. It'll be great.
And we all are self-sufficient. We're on a boat, so we make our own water, we treat our own waste, we do all that kind of stuff. So it's like, it's all contained in the ship, which is kind of nice. So
yeah, good times. What else should we talk about? What other subjects should we touch on about giving and help? And
I was gonna say, I like this aspect of giving. This is because it truly, the more you give, the more you get back. Not that you would ever expect it, but
yeah.
Okay, so I can touch a little bit on, so I've recently found a doctor down in South Florida who, he was a little off the cuff. Actually, ironically, found him on Instagram because he has similar humor. You want to talk about humor?
He's in those memes, huh?
Yes, very much. So like, I send him all the things that I can't put. I should probably say that out loud, but anyways, and he deals a lot with hormones. So as you know, like, and I'll say this to anybody, like, I went through cancer 8 years ago. Now I think it was 2013. Yes, so 8 years ago, and I've gotten over it. It's been great. Everything's wonderful. And if anybody has any questions, they're more than welcome to ask. Obviously, I'm very open about it. But I noticed that a lot of things still weren't the same, especially my hormones. I have gone to, I tried to fix it for about 4 or 5 years with absolutely no luck. And finally found this doctor down in Miami, actually. And I kid you not, he found what everybody else couldn't. And it has been phenomenal. Wow. So everything balanced out. And what I liked about him is he kind of has that giving aspect of, his mentality was completely different. It was like, I truly want to fix you. I want to give as much as I can to you. And it was so refreshing. It was so nice that, you know, I told him everything about my medical history. And of course, when I walked in, he's like, you have all this stuff? I was like, yeah, I've had 13 surgeries, non-cosmetic. He's like, what? You know, this kind of stuff like that. And now because of it, because he explores all this kind of thing and is kind of off the cuff and is given so much. I mean, all of his patients love him and come back to him. I mean, I've been off, not only have all my hormones balanced out, but I am now off of Adderall that I was prescribed in college for 12 years. And I've never been able to come off of Adderall. And these.
What was that? What is that like? Why was that prescribed?
So it came about because I was a collegiate athlete, and I had to take a medical my freshman year because I had 4 stress fractures in my lower back and started to have 2 herniations as well.
What did you play?
So I played volleyball.
I knew that.
Yeah, D1 athlete, had a lot of fun. absolutely loved it. Very intense, but
I played with her too. You can tell she's a weapon. It's an absolute volleyball weapon. Yeah.
Oh, you're so nice on this podcast. Thank you.
Come on. I'm always this nice. Come on.
I'm just teasing you. Come on, we got to make it fun. But yeah, so
Anyway,
I kind of had to
speaking
choose.
of fun, back to the stress fractures.
Yeah, I had to choose between walking or playing volleyball and being shot up with cortisone and having, all these different surgeries anyways. But I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, so when I was prescribed it, I guess I always had some form of ADD, but when all of the practices, all of the strenuous, like everything kind of went away and I was left to myself and I wasn't overexerting myself like I was before. I wasn't getting the serotonin release on constant exercises. I mean, I was doing 2-a-days constantly, like I was in the weight room all the time. And then when all that went away, it was too much. I didn't know how to, because I'd been doing it my entire life. And so that's why they prescribed me Adderall, because they're like, I couldn't concentrate on anything whatsoever. And it really did actually help focus me in the beginning. But then over time, I did not realize, I will tell you this, I had no idea once I got off of it, how much anxiety I was having while on Adderall. And you know me, I'm not a high anxious person. Like if there's a dire situation, I actually calm down, and then once everything's fixed, then I freak out. But I'm very usually level-headed, calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But what I figured out once I went off of Adderall is what would happen is I would actually talk myself out of a decision. So I'd make a decision. And then while on Adderall, there'd be about 4 different options go through where I'd say, was that really the right choice? Oh, well, there's this other option, there's this option, there's this option, and this option. And it puts you in this like paralyzed state where you really had a hard time actually moving forward with any decision. And once I got off of Adderall, it's been a lot better to be able to kind of go, wow, nope, that's the decision I want to make. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yeah, I'm sure there's these other options, but this is the one I want. And it's crazy how much easier it's been. And I would highly recommend people to go look them up. It's called No Bullshit Medicine, actually, is the name. He's actually coming up with his new office is called I call it Plasticity, but it's Plastic City, if you will.
Okay.
And his name is Dr. Ivan Rusilico, and he's absolutely phenomenal. Just takes life by the horns, wants to give back to everybody. And kind of the whole reason why I talked about this, I guess, is because he wants to leave the world a better place. He wants to make the world better. And the way that he does it is by helping people with their health get better. And kind of what we've talked about Pacific Hope is he's even told me too. He's like, well, the more I give, the more it ends up coming back to me, and I meet these cool people and these cool stories. And then I've got this new case, and it's giving, especially nowadays with COVID. It's like you said earlier, if everybody does it, it makes the world a better place. And then on top of that, the people who give, and when you give to others, your mental health gets better.
Yeah.
There's more things that come back to you that just end up falling into place. Anxiety goes down. I mean, there's so much to it that it's absolutely insane. So
and even if we all just gave a little bit, imagine that. I mean, it'd be a different world completely, instead of not giving it all and just taking, really. Just not just taking, but just being like, oh, I'm just worried about me and my family, which is admirable. But then what about a little bit for people that don't have as much as you? Like I consider myself just lucky just to be healthy, that's luck. That's genetics. And some people they have a tougher set of cards than I do. And if I can do something, I'd like to.
Well, think about it. Like, how good do you feel when you honestly give? When you just give something, no strings attached. You're like, and it's such a simple gesture. Let's say you give a flower to somebody and then they smile. I mean, literally, it's something as small as that. And there's actually different studies that show it does release serotonin in your brain. There are it actually creates all these different reactions within you on a biological level, not just even an emotional, psychological level, but it really does improve your overall health. It's amazing. So sorry.
Let's do it. Volunteer on Pacific Hope, people. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Have a great time. Yeah.
Come give and better your own, I don't know, perspective and life and gain some joy. It's
fill your battery.
Infectious. Huh?
Fill your battery.
Exactly. Charge it up, especially in today's world.
Yeah.
What else do you want to talk about? How have you been giving, Brennan?
How have I been giving? I don't know. I'm kind of I got a cool job I'm pretty pumped about. I've been doing these podcasts every week. I don't know if that's giving.
That's giving a lot, actually. It's pretty cool. I've been watching them.
It's been fun. It's been fun. I noticed that I think all of them, they can't be monetized because I said the word shit. I'm like, well, okay, I'll never make money at this. That's all right. It's still fun. Who gives a shit? YouTube. Terrible word. Terrible word.
The fork.
Awful. Yeah. Get the fork out. I don't know. I think we should have you back. That's what I think. Get Marvin on and then have you back and we can talk about more stuff, especially as you ramp up for the Amazon and you can talk about the behind the scenes stuff. But yeah.
Cool. We're all excited. So
yeah.
It will be pretty neat. Well, I don't know. What else should we talk about?
I don't know. I think it's been an hour or over an hour, and I like to keep these around there for some reason. I mean, we can talk as long as we want, but what's
I'm like,
it has to be with purpose.
Again, I'm being nice and professional, and so I'm like, okay, well, can I talk about that? Nah. Just teasing. No, it's been a good ride. I've been on it for 3 years, so it's been 3 years, over 3 years. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's it. I can see it. Like you can see it. It's so similar to yachting, and this is one of the biggest reasons why I want to have you on. Is that it's so similar but so different, and a lot more altruistic than kind of what we do as yachties. And it's a good break. It's a good break just to do that, where it's something quite similar, same but different, as they say in Thailand, and then you just feel pretty good afterwards.
Yeah. And you definitely will learn, like, my boating skills and yachting skills, because I grew up with boat, like on the water, if you will, but has definitely improved since I have been on the ship, just because when people need you for different jobs, you're that type of person. I'm like, I'll do it. Why not?
I'll go.
So I don't know. People, when they contribute, and especially because we're also very appreciative when people contribute, it's very invigorating. And I guess I totally forgot about that aspect too. We've actually had a lot of nurses and a lot of people come on board, because sometimes when you're at work and you're just in the drone of things, and a lot of times people don't say thank you. And it's not because they're mean people or something. It's just because sometimes when people go to the hospital, they expect a nurse to take care of them. That's just what it is. And same thing with bodies, same thing with anybody, like anyone in their profession. If that's what you do, lots of time people don't say thank you because they expect that from you, which again, I'm not trying to like downplay anybody else. It's just, that's kind of what happens in today's world. And when people come to the ship, it's so invigorating when people are just so grateful for the simplest thing that you do. I mean, the nurses that are there, they're working, they work harder because people are so grateful. They're unbelievable. They cry, they're grateful. I mean, and then people who drive boats, who again just brought fresh water in these cisterns to the island. I mean, they're just welcome with like, thank you for everything that you do. There's so much gratitude. And I think that's a big part of what charges people when they leave Pacific Hope, because like, this is why I got into this. This is why I got into medicine, or this is why I got into yachting, because I love the exploration. I love like helping people with this, or this is why I want to get into this new profession, whatever it is. It's just, it flips everyone's perspective on things. And it definitely does leave you charged. It's an important flip as well. You're just thankful for every advantage that you've been given by pure luck. It's like,
these beautiful souls are born on these islands or countries that are far flung, and it's like access to education, access to water sometimes is a challenge. It's like, and they're still beautiful souls, and they're still happy and caring and loving, and it speaks a lot to the character of humanity in general, and how, I mean, just how hopeful we can be as a species. It's cool. It's hopeful. When you do this stuff, you see the good. You see the good in everyone, even if they're kind of dealt a more difficult hand than other people.
I know, and you see it, and you're like, how did I get so far off this track? Like, wow, people are so grateful, and then you kind of go, oh, okay, well, I'm going to stay on this track because I like this grateful track.
Yeah.
This is wonderful, and then you bring it back to you, and then people are like, you're just happy. And you're like, well, yeah. I mean, if you saw what I saw, I'm very happy right now. It's cool. Again, as you can tell, I mean, I haven't stopped smiling since you've been asking me questions about it, and that's not because I'm on a podcast. No.
Well, when was the last time you were on Pacific Hope? What was the last? Was the Bahamas?
It's been way, way too long for me.
Well, I mean, COVID's over. COVID's a year now, going on a year.
Yep. So my last time was in the Bahamas, but the boat has actually been to the Dominican Republic since then. It did leave the Bahamas, and it was doing some just outreaches and good works in the DR. They went to Barbados, I believe, too. And so there's more information coming on that one. I don't want to
Nice.
yet, but Barbados.
What happened in Barbados? Like, what's is it still Maria, or is it?
Barbados, again, so we're not exclusive to disaster relief. It's just sometimes if people need us there. And so Barbados, there is a base down there, but I don't want to say anything yet. Like,
oh yeah, don't let's save it for next time.
Exactly. So it's something I don't want to. I'll let Marvin tell that one, if that makes sense.
I'm excited to have him on too. He's a character. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Marvin, a character? Yeah. No, what are you talking about?
And for the yachties, like his kind of, I don't even know if it's his main. I guess it's his side hustle. I think Pacific Hope is his main thing, but he designs boats. He designs yachts, big 90-meter ocean coves, and yeah, he's a very, very intelligent dude. But I don't know. It's hard to describe, Marvin, but excited to have him on. But it was great to have you on. This has been sick. Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Definitely. I was super excited when you asked me, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of did rub it in Marvin's face a little bit. I was like, hey, Brendan asked me to go on the podcast. He's like, well, he asked me too. No, just teasing. So it was a little fun to be like,
cool.
Boke.
I was gonna have Nicky on first, and then we'll get Papa Bear on and talk about it.
Exactly. I can only say it because he's been like a really close friend of mine. So that's why every now and then I gotta, poke that bear. Just keep my friends.
Yeah, you like that. You like that.
I
You're
do.
Like, oh yeah. Oh,
I try to bring up. Exactly. You like it too. We've obviously been friends ever since. So apparently it's endearing to some people. So who knows?
Well, it's like, I mean, it started in restaurants for me, but then also on yachts is that sometimes you get stuck in the monotony of a job, whether it's peeling potatoes or an 8-week charter, and without talking shit, without making fun of each other, it would be incredibly boring. Like, you just have to, like, pranks, jokes, whatever, just to pass the time. Like, you're stuck in the same room, same boat, whatever. Like, yeah. I got a good prank planned. I'm not gonna say it now, but it's one I've done in the past. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be filmed. Yeah, it has to do with. I can't say it because it'll give away if somebody watches it. It's gonna be good though. It's gonna be good.
I can't wait. You do pull off some pretty cool things when it comes to that.
No.
You're a pretty creative mind there. So I'm a little nervous for the person that you're about to prank.
Oh no, it's nothing. Oh, it'll just be a shock value for sure. Like, I wish you could tell it now, but I can't say it. I'll do a video on it. I'm gonna film the whole thing. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I'd say everything that you have said is just still making me nervous. You're like, oh, shock value. Oh, okay, yeah, that definitely makes me nervous for this person.
Yeah.
So,
well, it does involve human feces, so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Or dare I say, imitation human feces.
Okay, I was kind of hoping you were going for that, to be quite
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
gonna be
have made that cat litter box cake. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that?
No. Yes. Oh, that's good. You don't have to say anymore. I'm like, yes, that's a good cake. Yeah.
I even put like a pooper scooper in the dishwasher, so it would like be sterilized.
Was it a real one? You didn't like buy a new one?
Oh no! I bought a new one, but I still sterilized it. Like,
Okay.
I don't have a cat.
Just in case they tested that at the factory, like, oh yeah, scoops of poop, good.
Yeah,
Put it in the
like,
box.
cool. I wash everything that I use, like eating utensils with. Are you kidding me? So, but that was what was used to serve the cake. So it was.
I like it. That's a really good idea. True birthday.
Committed to it. I was giving. I was giving a lot to this person.
Sense of humor, Nikki. Sense of humor gets us through anything, I feel like.
Hey, it makes us smile, brings laughter, and again, kind of like what I was talking about earlier too, is it not only does it help psychologically, but it's proven to help biologically too. It's
I believe it.
Amazing.
I believe it.
You gotta keep laughing. Gotta keep laughing.
You have to. You have to, for sure. No matter how bad it gets. Like, gotta laugh at it. But like what I've noticed too, especially from the motorcycle trip, but also in yachting, like you have these instances of the bad times, right? Whatever they are. Either like going through Kazakhstan and it's just bad luck after bad luck. And those are the great stories though. Or you do an 8-week charter and it becomes like a lifestyle for a while. And you're like, this sucks. I just work and sleep. But you bond with the people that you did it with. And that's a much better story than, yeah, things were great for a while. Like, no one cares. Nothing gives a shit. Like, let's talk about the bad stuff. I want to hear like misery and pain and some blood. And then that's a good story. So if I can remember that, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, that you're like, oh, this is pretty shitty. But it'll be a good story. This is gonna be a good story. Yeah.
It's like whenever you're recanting things, it's like, hey, remember that time we threw this person off the boat or something? You know what I mean? And then everybody instantly laughs. Like, not that we did, but you know what I mean? Like,
remember that time you fell in the water?
Yeah, exactly. I knew that was coming up next. See? There you go.
Oh, that was gold.
Once.
All 6 foot just went, whoa, between the boat and the dock. You all right? You okay, Nikki? Yeah. And you like
totally
played that so fast, like no one saw, kind of like,
oh
no, I'm fine. Oh, it was so funny.
God.
It was gold.
This is the one thing that, like, I still remember this moment to this day. Like, I knew exactly what I was thinking, because what I did is I grabbed one of the levers trying to get on the boat, and it just went whoop. And I remember going, I have 2 options. I can either look like an angry spider monkey trying to like climb up the boat, or I can just gracefully fall into the water and not injure myself. And it makes you wonder, you're like, how can I go through that sequence of thought process in a quarter of a second?
Fractions of a second.
Yeah. You're like, but I can't remember what I had for breakfast today. Like,
what? The human mind's fascinating. I have a scar from that. Like, I scraped on a spike on those docks were gnarly. I'm glad you didn't get hurt. I wouldn't be laughing, but it was.
We rebuilt those docks too. So
that's right. There was in the process. Yeah, it's a cool scar though. I like the scar. I'm not gonna lie. I just tell people I got shanked.
I was like, well, we don't want to scare people from coming to Pacific Hope. It's not like physically dangerous.
Yeah, no, it's all self-inflicted, so it's fine.
Yeah, we have medical staff on board, so at least
exactly.
If you're like me or Brennan, that there's somebody there to take care of you, so that's good.
Yeah.
I think my favorite though was when Muriel like didn't rub in the sunscreen on your back.
Oh, you love that photo.
I love it. Looks like Zorro got you sunscreen.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Muriel, that old chestnut. Hey, she didn't rub it in. All right. Well, I thank you for coming. I think we got to sign off now. We're well past the hour, but it was fun. Let's do it again. Let's talk more about anything you want. But yeah, Pacific Hope kind of ramping up. That'd be sick. Get the fork out.